Hello there, fellow folks. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back for the What If series. Today, I'll be talking about Roger Waters, a legend, being a part of a legendary band known as Pink Floyd. There's an idea I had across on my mind early in the year that I didn't even know this was exist. That, I don't know if you guys didn't know, that for the Radio KAOS tour had shows lined up for October. Y'all know that? So there was going to be October dates from the US leg from August to September of 87 and doing shows in November of that year too. But there were some October dates it was supposed to be lined up. It was supposed to be in Hawaii, Australia, and Japan. I wonder why it did not happen. You know what? Let's take a look at what could have been Radio KAOS tour across the Far East. Of course, in real life, Roger did tour for Radio KAOS. However, during the tour, there were competition. It was his past bandmates from Pink Floyd to tour their next album that would be A Momentary Lapse of Reason. And tickets for Radio KAOS were lower than anticipated. I believe for A Momentary Lapse of Reason, they should have waited for another year. However, I believe the tour were already in prep, heading out on the road before even Roger was on the road on his tour at that time. However, for that tour, sold more tickets than Radio KAOS. To be honest, the Radio KAOS album and tour had an interesting concept, but nah. But I believe back then the audience didn't understand and didn't know this type of concept of a tour would be. Anyway, here was the schedule for the tour and combining with the What If one. So you have kicking off in the US from August to September of 87, then Bleeding Hearts Band heading off to Hawaii, Australia, and Japan in October, and finally more shows in Canada and 3 more shows in the US, and 2 shows in London. If the tour continued through 1988, I believe he would tour across Europe. There may be more shows in Asia and a little bit in South America. But I bet at that time, I believe Roger was stressed because of the lawsuit settlement with the bandmates of Pink Floyd. If the first leg went success, it would continue. So here's the tour dates for those. So for the October dates, we had Hawaii, October 3rd, Brisbane, October 9th, Melbourne, October 15th, Sydney, October 20th, Perth, October 24th, Osaka, October 27th, and finally Tokyo, October 28th and 29th. I bet these shows will be a success, and I bet this the set list of the tour will do the same. Oh, before I talk about the set list, this is what it should have been, right? So let's say after the US of the first leg of the tour, let's say it grew success. But let's say the first batch of shows didn't do well. And then maybe on the second half of the first leg of the tour did very well. And then, of course, maybe they later go to Hawaii. Of course, I would say it will be pretty much success at that time. And then maybe going to Australia, and then it would possibly be mix. Then in Japan, possibly, I'm not really sure. I believe it will be 30 to 40% success. That would be my premonition. So, yeah. Anyway, let's move on to the set list for the tour. So we kick off with Radio Waves, Welcome to the Machine, Who Needs Information, Money, In the Flesh, Have a Cigar, Pigs, and Wish You Were Here. So the records I just mentioned, In the Flesh, Have a Cigar, Pigs, and Wish You Were Here, those were medleys. So they narrowed down into 2 to 3 minute sections of those records. It's pretty interesting. If y'all haven't listened to it, go ahead and listen to it. I highly recommend. And then we go with Mother, Molly's Song, Me or Him, then The Powers That Be. And then we move on to Act 2, and that will be Going to Live in LA, Get Your Hands Off My Desert, Southampton Dock, Arnold Lane, If, Every Stranger's Eyes, Not Now John, Another Brick in the Wall Part 1, Happiest Days of Our Lives, Another Brick in the Wall Part 2, Nobody Home, 4 Minutes, Toot is Turning, Breathe, and Brain Damage and Eclipse. with that leg of the tour, I bet Radio Chaos would be a successful run for the solo era for Roger Waters. Well, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, Amused to Death came out in 1992, and I think people praised that album. And to me, personally, Amused to Death is a great album, a great concept, and I like it. So anyway, that is it for the What If series. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment, like, and subscribe if y'all haven't done it yet. There's plenty more content coming before near the end of the year. Anywho, I'll see y'all next time, and take care, and see you later.